Even as we celebrate youth today, the overall unemployment in Kenya is almost 13%. Youth who make up the larger portion of our population, in fact 65% of the Kenyan population, that is people between the ages of 13 and 34, 15 and 34, have the highest unemployment rate at 67%. That means 6 out of 10 youth being unemployed. This is especially due to corruption and mismanagement. Health as a sector has been devolved to the counties, but so has corruption. Many say that it is now 47 times worse than it used to be, and it is the youth who suffer immensely. During the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission report last year on the status of corruption and unethical conduct in Kenya's healthcare sector, former CS Susan Nakumicha revealed that the health sector ranks second on the list of the most corrupt ministries. Let that sink. The health sector sometimes fights for first position in terms of corruption, and it is a very sad state because it is you young people who suffer the most. The USAID United Society Against Fraud, Waste and Abuse, USAWA program could not have come at a better time. Through this project, the Association of Media Women in Kenya, AMWIK, and other organizations within the consortium, as you have heard, Transparency International Kenya leading us, Global Compact Network Kenya as part of the consortium, and the Interreligious Council of Kenya, all represented here, we are dedicated to making healthcare in Kenya better for youth, better for everyone, and to improve transparency and accountability. We advocate for the enforcement of laws, policies, and regulations that affect the health sector, so that they are not just on paper and in our shelves, but that you actually see them rolled out in the health sector, so that when you walk into a hospital, or a dispensary, or a pharmacy, you are getting the service that you deserve as a citizen and as a youth in this nation. The media plays an essential role in combating corruption by acting as an overseer, a watchdog, exposing corrupt practices through media engagement and media coverage. You can see the cameras around us. They are the same people who go to the field, risking their lives, as we often see, to expose what is corrupt and to get the stories out, calling out corruption and agitating for transparency through their coverage. It is a very powerful medium of engagement and communication with the citizens and with the youth and with the public of Kenya on the need for transparency and the end of corruption in this nation. Many have risked their lives. I'm sure here in Nakuru you know about Catherine, who was shot 3 times. Others were injured during the youth protests. Others have been abducted. Others have gone through difficult times because of speaking out as media for what they believe is right and agitating for accountability from those who are powerful. Through investigative journalism, we can uncover injustices and inform the public about their rights. Media platforms are vital channels, therefore, for educating citizens about the impact of corruption and mobilizing citizens towards doing something about it. Every Wanjiko, Yusuf, Musa, needs to understand that they have a role to play in fighting against corruption. It is no longer serikali nisaidie. It is you as raia ujisaidie. to stand up and demand for your rights in the health sector. Demand for good governance, demand for good leadership, demand for management of commodities in a way that is transparent and accountable, and demand for health provision as is your right according to the law. So when the media engages with citizens, that is what we hope will increase. Citizens speaking up, making queries, writing petitions, sending questions, sending memos, asking for their rights in every dispensary, in every pharmacy, in every hospital. Not sitting passively and taking whatever is served to them, but actually agitating for what they know is their right according to the Constitution and the law of this country. And the only way that that can be possible is if media does its work. So that is what the Association of Media Women in Kenya supports. Mobilizing media to mobilize citizens as a collective action against corruption. By amplifying the voices of youth and their concerns regarding corruption, we can foster a culture of integrity that resonates across generations to future generations. As we provide this platform for youth to engage with duty bearers, it is crucial that they understand a number of things. Youth must recognize that they have power to bring about change. Your voices matter. You can actually influence the laws and policies. You broke down the finance bill for us to understand. Technical knowledge that people thought could not even be understood was broken down for the whole country by our youth. So you can help us understand our laws and our policies and our rights as citizens. Working together with various stakeholders, including government officials, CSOs, and the private sector, you can amplify your efforts against corruption. RCK is represented here, GCNK, and Transparency International. Work with them to amplify your voices. Work with the Association of Media Women in Kenya to amplify your voices as youth. You also need to understand the mechanisms of corruption and its consequences, because knowledge will equip you to advocate effectively for reforms. Knowledge is power. Recently, we've been going around speaking to youth about the budget cycle in the health sector. What is the health sector budget? How much is given to counties? How much of that comes from national government? How much from that is approved budgets for the county? How much of that comes from donors? How much of that comes from borrowings from commercial banks? How much of that comes from user fees in the county? Once you understand that, and then you hear that 90 billion, for example, can be given to your county, and only 2 billion is used for health, that knowledge will equip you to agitate against corruption. Because you must compare what has actually been given as fact. Use fact to advocate for anti-corruption in your county. Use data that you actually know about your country from reports all around you, from Transparency International, GCNK, RCK, even government reports. Educate yourself so that when you're speaking, even as Wasani, through poetry, through song, you're using facts. Nobody can hold it against you when you're using data that cannot be disproven. So knowledge is power. To our youth today, I urge you to also unite, because when you're divided, you will not have impact. Against corruption, you must unite. You must work together. You have energy, you have passion that maybe older people do not have. You have strength and courage that cannot be compared to the older generation. Stand firm in your commitment to integrity and accountability. Remember that every action counts, whether it's reporting corrupt practices or promoting transparency within your communities, or even pointing out the positive and the good, what's working, as well as what's not working. We are not just here to agitate for you to report the bad and the ugly. We are also here to say, use your creativity, use your networks, use your voice to speak out about what is succeeding, what is positive, what is beautiful in your county, to give hope to citizens as well. As the Association of Media in Kenya, we especially urge traditional media, journalists in TV, print and radio, but also, as you have seen, we are embracing and we are encouraging new media and creatives, the bloggers, the vloggers, the spoken word artists, and you will hear them today, the singers, the dancers, the poets. Yesterday we were blessed to meet with muralists, dramatists, dancers, poets, singers, and spoken word artists in Nakuru. We were very impressed. Nakuru leads the way. You're trailblazers in terms of media. Clap for yourself. We are very, very impressed by all that you have been able to do in Nakuru. We urge you to continue along that path. It used to be that if you say I'm a singer, it meant that you had failed in education. You could not go ahead with your school. But now you can see that there is respect for a new type of media used to agitate for transparency and accountability, used to fight corruption, to agitate even for policies and laws that work. Only yesterday we saw a full page given to the Earth Song against climate injustice. And that's a full page that costs millions in a newspaper being given to a new media and a creative. The world is changing, and there's an emerging appreciation for what you do. You play an integral role and a very big role in spotlighting fraud, waste, and abuse through your various media and calling out corruption in the health sector. We have seen the media landscape change to embrace you. You have powerful communication. That's why we had songs like I'm Unvogable during the electioneering period. Kenya ni nchi ya kitu kidogo, we all remember that song by Wainaina. And very recently, even Shoshos and Bukas were singing Anguka Nayo. Isn't it? So we have seen the impact of even YouTubers speaking against corruption and calling for social justice. So we encourage the youth, use what is in your hand. What is in your hand? What you have as your power, as your gift. Together, let us shape the future where integrity prevails over corruption. Let us build a society where justice is accessible and every individual can thrive without fear of exploitation, abduction, killing, or injustice. As we mark this significant day, let us work together towards a future free from corruption. A future where youth will lead with courage and conviction. Where youth are the leaders of today, not the leaders of tomorrow. Thank you very much.